Hi, my name is Josh Dyer, and I am with Emil Toder of Missio Link International, and he's going to join me in just a brief moment. I just want to thank everybody for joining us for this interview and everyone that was a part of Key West Bike Ride. I know we weren't able to actually go on the ride, but a lot of ministry has been done and will be continued to do, and Emil's going to share a lot about that. Emil, I want to thank you for joining me. How are you doing today?
Thank you for having me. It's so good to see you.
Well, so I want to share a video real quick about when I was there in January, and it kind of just shows about how you are thankful for everyone participating with the ministry on Key West Bike Ride. Let's go to that movie right now.
Last year I had some great news from our partners at Missio International in the States who told us they met a great group of people from ends of the earth cycling. I knew of ends of the earth because that's what the gospel talks about. I never knew how it connects to cycling, and now we do. We saw the love and genuine interest of this group of brothers and sisters who come all the way from the US to see how they can assist us, they can take part in our work in Romania. So we very much appreciate what Ends of the Earth Cycling is doing. We very much appreciate your interest, as well as you coming alongside us to help people know about Romania, about God's work in Romania, and also trying to see what are practical ways in which you can help us. So I am not going to shout because it's a camera, but you should hear a very loud thank you from us.
All right, we are back. Emil, thank you again for being part of this, and I want to thank you for joining me today. It was back in January. A lot has happened since then. Just what's been going on with you and your ministry?
Well, thank you for having us in this live interview. Obviously, just like everywhere, a lot of things, many things have changed since January. My name is Emil Toder, and I serve as president of Missio Link International Ministry in the western part of Romania, in Timișoara, where we serve children at risk, and we also serve in areas of youth ministry. In January, I had the joy of meeting a great group of people from the US, from New International Ends of the Earth Cycling, who came over to Romania to do a video with us and to prepare for the Key West bike ride. In January, I started training seriously for that ride, and obviously it got
I've seen your hill. It's insane.
everything got canceled at the last moment. Actually, I shouldn't say everything. It's just the bike ride that got canceled and my trip. Everything else that's associated with the bike ride hasn't been canceled.
Well, so what does the Key West Bike Ride mean to you and your ministry that someone was wanting to do this, raise money and support for your ministry? What does that mean to you?
It's just been the Key West bike ride was such a blessing for us. We were overwhelmed, literally, with so many people who would come together, and from one side as organizers, Ends of the Earth Cycling and New International, on the other side, so many participants from all over the country coming together to focus on young people in Romania, to look at the needs of people in Romania and to come alongside to pray, to come alongside to support, and also to paddle and enjoy the time together. That in a brief expression, I could say that you have really embraced us with God's love by doing all that.
I know it
So
was really cool
thank
just to be a part of that. I know Justin, this is a big thing for Justin. I think 78 people signed up for this. It's very
Yes.
exciting that we're all kind of part of this group that sees a hope in our youth and are willing to put our funds and our efforts to help the youth with the ministries. Speaking of ministries, how did you even get involved with End of Earth Cycling? Can you share that story with us?
Sure, yes. Over a year and a half ago, two of my colleagues, two people from our team, I must mention that we work in very close partnership with Missio International, which is a 501c3, an NGO in the US, which is now based in Knoxville. But two of our people on the team, Mike McKeaton and Heather Wood, met with Ends of the Earth Cycling at ICOM in the US. At the conference, they exchanged ideas and talked about the possibility of Ends of the Earth Cycling coming over and organizing a bike ride to support the ministry in Romania. That was the start of it. Then in November last year, visiting and participating at ICOM, I was glad to meet Paul and some of the people on the team. And then later in January of 2020, this year, yourself, Josh, and Crystal, and Tia, a great group came over to visit and do the video and prepare us for the bike ride.
All right, so I'm just looking at some Facebook comments and chatting. We got to thank you for Crystal for leading the team. Justin said that, and greetings from Ed, Paul Molliker, which is the guy that you got to hang out with. And another one said, making the most out of this weird time. And, the COVID-19 means everything has changed. How has that impacted your ministry, and what are you guys doing?
Obviously, the new situation given by this COVID-19 has changed things for everybody. In Romania, a lot of restrictions were implemented. Social distancing, schools are out, public meetings, sports events, religious meetings, cultural events, everything has been canceled for a few weeks now, and it looks like it will continue until probably into mid-May at least. So as a ministry, we have adapted to the changes. For some people, this means even more work. If you think of a family with a couple children who used to go to school 5-6 hours every day, and now those 2 or 3 children are home, life is changed completely. Well, when you have 10, 11 girls in a house, in 2 houses, like a Deborah house, that means 20-something girls staying at home now, which means a lot of work for the house parents, for the support staff, but they have done and adapted really well. Also for other programs where we serve children in the villages, trying to encourage them to stay in school. Now the school is not functioning anymore, so we had to find ways of coming alongside them and offering our support at this time in new ways.
So behind me, we have some images. You guys are working on a lot of stuff. Like I said, everyone's being impacted. You have specific ministries, and I was kind of amazed when I was over there that not only you're reaching teens, but you're reaching adults too, to get to know the Word of God, to get an education for the kids. This is a picture. I'm going to go to that full screen now. This is a picture of the kids in back to school program. Do you mind sharing a little bit about that?
Sure. In Romania, as I was saying before, it's a country of contrast. Romania is part of the European Union. You have cities like Timișoara and Cluj and Bucharest and so on, which are very nice and big, and you can find everything in them. But then life outside the city in rural areas is very different. One of the big issues, especially in this area around Recaș, is that families which have been moved here during communism, dislocated from other areas of the country, they live in there are a lot of families that live in poverty, And one of the biggest issues that we found is that children are dropping out of school. They are not able, families are not able to keep them in school. So that leads to a vicious circle when once children don't receive an education as young people, if they don't have an education, then they cannot get a job. If they cannot get a job, that just leads to a vicious circle, which we are trying to break. So the purpose of our back to school program is to help between 250 and 300 children to stay in school, to go to school, to finish their school year. And we do that by helping them with the basics, hygiene products, food, as well as working in partnership with the local school. And obviously, our purpose is also to share the gospel of Christ and the love of Christ with these young people.
And I think you guys are doing a great job with that. And the prayer theme, someone mentioned prayer themes, and I was just blown away. Even though the bike ride didn't happen, we were still praying for you guys every day. And I want to share just a quick story. On one of the days, you shared a story of Emma and her sister Karina. Oh, is it Karina?
Yeah.
And you shared Jeremiah 29:11-13. It says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you, not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. Then you will call on me and come and pray to me, and I will listen to you. You will seek me and find me when you seek me with all of your heart." And you guys talk about praying for youth and who don't have like a role model, praying for the youth who don't have a role model, how to deal with failure and how to not give up on your dreams. Those are kind of things that you mentioned during that day. Can you share just a quick synopsis of their story and the impact it's had on you and your ministry?
Yes. Here we're talking about two types of young people, and one of the things that I really liked about Cycling approach to youth ministry is that in general, when we think of youth ministry, we think of VBS or youth camps or such events and youth gatherings. But when we look, a lot of the people that are vulnerable and exposed and are like in our programs are young people. They are children and young people. So in the stories that we mentioned, they're all real stories from Lorena's, my colleague's journal.
Right.
We serve along the years. We see how life has changed for those young people. We have children from those homes who now have finished primary school or have finished high school, and life has just been changed for them. So also when we think of young people in our Harmony project who are part of a juvenile prison system, our staff go there twice a week teaching and also sharing the gospel. There is such a need for people who don't have a role model, who have done maybe, definitely big mistakes in their lives. That's why they're there, to see something different, to hear the gospel, to interact with volunteers and people who can encourage them to make smart choices in their lives and to correct their lives.
Yeah, and when I was there in Romania, I think a big impact for me was watching the girls at the Deborah House and how they really were drawn to the gospel, were drawn to the way that you guys approach things. And I was really impressed. You have like over 20 girls in that program, and some of them are just coming out completely changed by the gospel. And one of those was, I know, Marilla, and her story. Yeah, her story is amazing. And we don't have a lot of time here, but if you could, I will go full screen here. This is just a shot of the Deborah House, the girls just having fun. And can you tell us a little bit about how Deborah House, and then, the aspirations aspect of it, with the girls graduating, and then obviously Marilla there. Can you just share how Deborah House is really impacting those girls that are stuck in that kind of that way?
Sure, I'd love to. So Since 2001, which means almost 20 years now, um, at Deborah House, there are two homes. Deborah House, it's a residential program where girls who have been victims of traffic or abuse as minors, so in Romania, that is up to 18 years old, they come into our program, and we have house parents and the full support staff of social workers, psychologists, and everything that is needed to help those girls in a process of healing, uh, going to school, getting an education, shelter, protection, and everything they need. You mentioned Mirella, whose picture you are showing on the screen. She's, in a way, our present miracle girl. She's been the queen for many of us. We're so proud of her. And Mirella, I mean, we're taking 2 minutes to share a story that for us has taken 10 to 12 years. Mirella has come from a very difficult background and has been at Deborah House for as a teenager until she was an adult. She was a very ambitious and hardworking girl.
Yeah.
Then she went to medical school. Last year, she finished medical school. She was in the top of her class. This year, she passed her residency exam, and she started working at a hospital in the western part of Romania. As we're speaking, I mean, those 2 weeks since you mentioned the COVID virus and this, Mirella is now helping other people. She was sent to the border as a medical doctor
Wow.
to help with the triage of people coming into the country from red zones and different areas in Europe. So she is now turning around and really helping others. So it's a life that has been transformed. As I said, we're saying that in 2 minutes, but we have seen tens of lives, such as Mirella's, being transformed. Girls like this who now have a family, have children, have gotten an education, have gotten a job. They now come to Deborah House like they come to their parents' house, like they come to the grandparents.
I noticed that too when we were over there with Marilla. She knew all the girls. She's been graduated there for a while, but she knew everybody and they knew her. And what an opportunity for her to continue to minister to people that were in her situation. It's amazing
She's a
how you
role,
guys have done that.
yes, yes, she's a role model. Yeah,
She is a role model. Yeah. Uh, I want to real quick. You love bike riding, right?
I do.
So I'm assuming a lot of our viewers now are enjoy bike riding or help the bike riders. Tell us a little bit about your journey as a biker, as a rider. Why do you do it, and what kind of hills do you hit?
Well, when I first started cycling about 12 years ago, I was about to call an ambulance. I didn't I would make it. Since then, yes, I enjoy cycling, and I'm in a little bit of a transition in the last year and a half, as I used to do a lot of mountain biking.
Uh huh.
Now I'm switching to road biking. There's some of my friends who are a bit mean. They associate that with age. I don't think they're right. So, but I do love cycling. I do love the outdoors, and that is also a big part of what we are doing as a ministry, ministering to young people. One of our programs at Alpinish, we call it an adventure with purpose, and uh, in our program, cycling in itself is not that big, but trekking, backpacking, hiking, and the outdoors play a major role in just in the same way as cycling does in bringing people closer together and bringing people closer to God, helping them to understand God, to encounter Christ, and to hear the gospel.
Yeah, you guys got everything. You got hiking, you got skiing, you got ropes course. Uh, that's pretty cool. It was really neat to see that, and I think I got an aerial shot of your building right there. And I don't have a lot of time, and I just want to real quick. What progress have you made on your newest building? the Alpinist Retreat Center. Is that kind of halting progress, or are you guys still moving forward with that, with everything going on?
Well, what we're seeing now is Alpinish. We have a small camp and retreat center, conference center in central Romania in the mountains. As you mentioned, it's a ski resort area, so we can use it the year round. And we are now building an expansion to that project. It's a facility that will bring our capacity up to 100. And also it's equipped with the conference room and dining area and so on. At this point, we are continuing to build. It's a little bit early to say in what ways the new COVID situation would impact this. But for now, we are continuing to build, and we continue with the project.
Cool. Would you ever have a end cycling bike tour there? Would you ever host that?
We were talking about it.
Sweet.
The Transylvania tour is happening by our gate every year.
Okay.
So they are going up that mountain every year. It's part of the tour, and we would love to do something like this in Romania as well.
Yeah, I think we need to work on that, because that would be a lot of fun, and again, a good cause. It'd be everything that we were looking for, and the hills are pretty insane there. Would it be into those mountains, you think?
Yeah, I mean, it just means lower gears, right?
So. There you go. All right, well, I want to real quick, if anyone's interested in learning more about you and your ministry, what's the best way for them to contact you guys?
I would say there are two ways. You can contact us by email and phone in Romania at our MLI office and website. Mm-hmm. And also, please get in touch in the US with Missio International. They are our partners in the US. And I'm sure you can probably put on as a comment or on the page the contact information for both Missio International in the US and Missio Link International in Romania.
Yeah, I did the one on US is missiointernational.org, and then the Romania one is mli.ro, correct?
Yeah. Yes.
Excellent. All right.
So please come over and visit. That's the best way.
That's the best way, is to come over and visit. I love it. All right. Well, Emil, I want to thank you again. Are there any things that we can be praying for you guys? Any specific prayer needs for Missio Link?
Well, just before I say that, I would like to make sure that I say a very clear and loud thank you. Thank you, Josh and the End Cycling team and New International for doing this amazing work. I know that we didn't get to ride yet. But for sure, the prayers, the support, the way we came together, we feel like family. This all happened, and this is not a coincidence. So thank you, and thank you for your focus on prayer.
Yeah, absolutely.
I pray for us at this time for just the ministries that, as we shared those prayer devotionals, I think just following those, they're a very good prayer resource in giving information to pray for the staff and the girls at this time. Pray for resources, and pray that we will find ways to serve the vulnerable. One of the big hashtags now for everyone is stay at home. Mm-hmm. And people are saying, isn't it great that you can save the world just by lying down in your couch? But our homes are not the same for everyone. There are homes that don't have the basics. There are homes that don't have internet and don't have all the things that are so normal to many of us. So pray that we will be able to serve well the people that God has entrusted to us and has called us to serve.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. I have a website I can post up here. If you want to continue giving to Missio Link through this tour, go to endcycling.com/donate. And I think giving is going until April 25th. It's an amazing ministry. You reach so many people, hundreds of people. You have 20 girls in the home, but then you reach the community, which is where you're really targeting, with your back to school programs, your mom's programs, your harmony programs, so many different things. You guys are an amazing ministry in Romania and to Timișoara area, and you also help out a number of churches in Romania as well. And I think you connect with U.S. churches and Ireland. Is it Ireland churches in Ireland too?
Ireland as well, Northern Ireland, yes.
Northern Ireland. And
Yes.
you guys make a big difference in many people's lives and for many years to come. And you guys, how long have you guys been around?
As an organization, we serve since 2000,
2000.
20
And
years.
how many, I mean, is there a way to even know how many people you've touched?
Uh, I mean, I think we're touching people in different ways.
Mm-hmm.
There are, for example, we mentioned the girls at Deborah House who are in our programs and then are going into aspirations. We call this phase when we help them to live life on their own, get an education, get a job. But then, as you mentioned, we also have hundreds of children, youth coming, and also church leaders coming to Alpinish every year for youth camps or trainings, leadership development trainings. So people are touched in different ways. We like numbers sometimes, but I think there is. It's very important to see how people are being changed and touched. There are stories
Exactly.
of young people who their lives have been changed in being with us for 10 or 12 years.
Mm-hmm.
Are with us for a week in a youth camp.
Well, Emil, I want to thank you for joining us. Any last words you want to tell the riders, the bike riders, the support staff, anyone out there? Anything else you want to say?
Well, I understand the Key West bike ride has been postponed, not canceled, right?
Yes, I believe so.
I one of the things that I missed by missing this ride is just being able to share life with you all for
Yeah.
5 days, pray together, talk together, cycle together, and I hope that the time will come for us to connect in this meaningful way. And you're also very welcome to visit us in Romania to stay in touch.
Would love to. Emil, thank you again very much. I want you to have a great day, and we'll talk to you later, okay, Emil?
Thank you. Thank you so much.
God bless.
God bless you.